Ruchi Soya after the FPO, currently higher by 5% in Trader, is very soon going to be called Patanjali Food as well, with the application to that front being made. Joining us, the top management, Mrs. Sanjeev Asthana, live with us on the phone line to talk about the news that has come out over the weekend on Sunday. You've seen an FPO of 4,300 crore rupees. And Mr. Asthana, the company now announcing that you have prepaid all of the debt. This is something you talked about in the run-up to the FPO. So with that kind of a prepayment that is taking place, what does it mean for your balance sheet?
So as you can see that the balance sheet is absolutely cleaned up as a zero debt company. Our ability to sort of invest in businesses, our ability to expand, the portfolio of the products that we have becomes way better. So we are a much more robust company and a stronger company, financially and business-wise.
Nearly 3,000 crore rupees of debt that has been paid, and the biggest lender was, of course, SBI. The FPO, Mr. Asthana, had many twists and turns, but you did mop up 4,300 crores. But nearly 3,000 crores going in for debt. I know you've spoken about this in the past, but the fact the stock is buzzing so much, a thumbs up you're getting from the markets, what will you use the balance proceeds for exactly?
So we've used most of the proceeds for retiring our debt, and there were other obligations. The balance of the proceeds we'll use for our working capital, and some of it will go towards the general corporate purposes. I must say also that the company is in a very strong position because our cash flows are throwing up enough and more funds for the operations and expanding the working capital. So right now we are pretty happy with the way things have gone. And as we continue to invest in the businesses. But, this is something which will continue, and you'll hear more from us in the coming months.
Sure enough, Mr. Asthana, not just you, but the markets as well, very happy. 13% on listing day, and right now as well, it's holding up double digits. Wanting to understand what kind of revenue potential in addition do you now see with the combined entity?
So the revenue potential, I would not speculate on the exact size and the revenues of Patanjali right now. It would be very improper till we get the full details and sort of both the committees have worked through that. But suffice it to say, the scale is large. And this is a pure play food FMCG business that Patanjali runs, which has got some of the illustrated list I can share with you. Which are household names, and all of us at some point of time or the other have it at our homes, is like cow ghee, for example. Patanjali has been a pioneer in building that category. Patanjali's Chyawanprash, aloe vera juice, the physically refined oils like, mustard oil, etc. And so that list is large. It's a very large list. And as we start working through the numbers, through the product lines, seek the necessary approvals from shareholders and the respective shareholders, look at working through the regulators. I think it will become clearer. But the whole intent now is that we want to expeditiously move in the direction of integrating that business with the Ruchi Soya. And also, we have made an application subject to the necessary approval. We will make an application that board has already approved. To converting the name of Ruchi Soya, which would be more reflective to Patanjali Foods Limited.
Indeed. We are already calling it Patanjali Foods over here. Sorry, Mr. Asthana, you were saying something?
I was saying something that, sure. And this is an intent, it is not a sort of some sudden move. This is not only we declared that in the RHP, Puj Swami Ramdev ji, who's both a guide and, the entire sort of way the company is moving ahead. He had declared this intent long back in multiple, calls, with all the stakeholders, including the investors, that these are the plans. And of course, we could not have moved. We declared everything in our regulatory documents as well that with the intent. But now that being behind us, now is the time to do the action. So the first action, what we did was on the day of listing, we paid off the entire debt. The next action within 4 days you have seen is that we are moving ahead with the change of the name, as well as, moving ahead of the integration of the food business with us.
Asthana, so far so great. And, you've played as per the script, as per what you promised. What happens next now? What is the future plan? What has Baba Ramdev been suggesting as to what is the grand vision, say, in the next 5 to 10 years? Would there be more further additions from the Patanjali portfolio into this entity?
So at this stage, what we've done is that, we have completely cleared up the structure. So there was a confusion in the marketplace on some duplication of the products. There was confusion and constant questions that we used to get from stakeholders that how the businesses will be split between the two entities and, would this go there or something else will remain. That work we have already done now. And with this, our structure will get entirely cleaned up. So all the non-food FMCG businesses like personal care, home care, Ayurvedic medicines, and the Patanjali's business is very extensive and large. So that will remain with Patanjali Ayurved Limited and the entire foods portfolio once it moves. But to answer your question specifically, there is no intent at this point of time or even a discussion to move anything else from Patanjali other than the foods portfolio. And I think there's a lot to digest and do because we are there's a lot of action going on at Ruchi Soya. And hopefully we will digest it. We want to come good to the market in terms of the commitments that have been made and basically get down to the basics of doing good, hard work, executed well, and demonstrate a good performance, to ourselves and the marketplace and all the stakeholders.
Mr. Asthana, while you did allude to a strong growth across the portfolio, what investors are fairly keen to understand is what kind of revenue, even if you can just give us ballpark numbers, because I understand you can't divulge too much, but what can we expect in terms of potential revenue growth from the food portfolio business?
So foods portfolio, So foods portfolio, we are growing at between 10 and 15% year on year. There are two steps to the strategy. One is that we have very strong brands in Nutrela, and that we are converting to an umbrella brand and adding a whole lot of, more products under Nutrela brand. The second part is our, very extensive portfolio of the edible oil brands like Mahakosh and Ruchi Gold and Sunrich that we certainly are focusing on a lot more to build up greater traction with the customers. And the third piece, of course, is going to be the Patanjali Foods new business. So a lot of rationalization exercise we will go through in terms of, expanding the existing portfolio because the industry is in a growth mode. And second, of course, is that what else could be done under the portfolio of these brands to basically build up the FMCG foods business into substantially large business. Now, unfortunately, that number I'm not at liberty to disclose right now. But suffice it to say that it is going to be of a large scale, and that is what we are aspirationally getting ready for. And you will hear from us very soon. I think within 1 or 2 months itself, in terms of both the scope, the scale, and the size of what we are going to acquire, and how it is going to impact the fortunes of Ruchi Soya or the renamed entity subject to approvals at some point of time. Very quickly, you will hear from us.
Appreciate your time, Mr. Asthana. Thanks very much for joining in. Ruchi Soya continues to remain a huge buzzer in today's trading session.